Hey guys, I have some brand new limited edition merch available in 3 different designs that I helped create. They're available in multiple styles including hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and more, and you can choose between many colors and of course multiple sizes. Check out the link down below before the campaign ends to help support this channel and also get your hands on some awesome shirts. What is going on, everybody? It is Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan! Today we are doing the ultimate lazy recipes. We are doing 3 ingredient recipes, guys. 3 high protein, 3 ingredient recipes. Okay, that is what we're doing today. I just have to say I have outdone myself. Okay, I have outdone the lazy. We're not even doing 5 ingredients. Okay, we're not even going there. We're doing 3 ingredients. This is simple AF. Super simple, super easy, yet they're surprisingly very delicious. And these are all pantry items, guys. We're talking items that you can find in your pantry for those days when you just don't want to go grocery shopping, but you still want to have like a relatively healthier meal. Or if you're just trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, these are very apocalypse friendly recipes, you know? And of course you can add more things into the recipes and make it your own, just like do more stuff with it, or maybe combine the recipes together, you know what I'm saying? And if you guys want more of these 3 ingredient recipes, definitely let me know down below and give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. We are going to be taking 2 cups of cooked or canned chickpeas. I'm just using canned, and 2 cups actually works out to be around 1 can of chickpeas. So we're going to drain that out and we're going to rinse it. Then I'm just going to take all of those chickpeas and add them into a food processor, and you can actually just mash them by hand with a fork if you don't have a food processor. But if you do have a food processor, this is so much faster, as you can see here. So I just pulsed it a few times and just processed it until everything was nicely kind of mashed up. It doesn't have to be perfect. There can be chunks for sure, but that's kind of what you want to go for. Then we're going to add those mashed chickpeas into a large mixing bowl. And the next ingredient we're going to add is pasta sauce. I'm using store-bought pasta sauce, and that is the trick because that pasta sauce already has basically all the flavoring and spices and everything that you need in there. So you really don't need to add anything else. I did end up adding about 1 cup of pasta sauce. Now, I would recommend adding a bit less because I did find the mixture to be a little bit wet. So I would recommend adding maybe about a 3/4 cup, or just add a little bit at a time so that you don't make the mixture too wet. I did end up having to add a little bit more of the next ingredient, which I will show you in a second. Next ingredient I'm adding is almond flour, guys. So this is almond flour. I'm just adding a little bit at a time so I can make sure the mixture is the consistency that I want. Now, if you don't have almond flour, or if it's too expensive, or whatever the case may be, you can of course substitute with oat flour, or maybe try out a different type of flour. Oat flour would be really good in this case. Oat flour is quite sticky, so it will bring the mixture pretty well together. You probably don't need as much. I ended up adding about 2 cups of almond flour, which is quite a lot. Once again, you can maybe add 1 cup of almond flour, 1 cup of oat flour, or just substitute with oat flour or any other type of flour, up to you. Now that the bean mixture is ready, I'm just going to take a little bit more almond flour and just lay it out on a plate, and then I'm just going to make the bean mixture into little balls and then coat each ball with the almond flour. The first thing I thought when I made these is that they look just like Timbits. Do you guys know what Timbits are? Those are the little tiny donut balls that they sell at Tim Hortons. If you are Canadian, you know what I'm talking about. To cook these, I just threw them in the air fryer at 370 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes, flipping them halfway through. You can of course bake them as well, maybe bake them at the same temperature, but it probably will take a little bit longer. Just make sure you cook them until they're slightly browned on the outside, flip them halfway through, and you're good to go. Once the bean balls are finished, of course, we can toss them in that same pasta sauce that we used earlier. I'm just using the rest of the pasta sauce and then just tossing these lovely bean balls. And of course, you can eat them however way you want. This recipe yields about 20 bean balls, and each ball is about 111 calories per serving and 4 grams of protein. Now, it is a bit higher in the caloric side because, like I mentioned before, we did add quite a bit of almond flour and quite a bit of pasta sauce. So if you want it to be a little bit less in calories, then you can adjust the amount of almond flour, or you can use oat flour, which is a bit lower in calories, which will add up to less pasta sauce as well. So you can adjust the amounts however way you want. So it's totally up to you, but at the moment it is 111 calories per bean ball and 4 grams of protein, given that we are making 20 bean balls per this entire recipe. All of that being said, because these are so densely packed, they are super filling, okay? You just need like 2 or 3 into your meal and you are good to go, my friend. And they are really, really yummy, guys. I just put a little bit of basil on top just for presentation. And of course, you can add other things to it as well. Like I always say, you can feel free to adjust whatever, add more ingredients if you want. But this is a 3-ingredient bean ball recipe. First ingredient we're using is a big can of diced tomatoes with herbs and spices. So again, because it has herbs and spices in the mixture already, I don't need to really add too much to it. So we're going to add that into a big wok or a pot, and then we're going to add some high protein, TVP. This is textured vegetable protein. It's basically like dehydrated vegetable protein. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of like a veggie crumble. So it kind of works as a substitute for a ground beef or something like that. We're also going to add some black beans. I'm just using canned black beans. We're going to add a little bit of water. Water doesn't count as an ingredient, okay? And then we're just going to mix that all up. And then we are going to bring that to a soft boil and just cook it for a bit. Bring it to a boil, and then I'm gonna bring it to a simmer, and then we're gonna cook it for about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, even longer if you want the flavors to infuse a little bit more. And literally that's it. This is ridiculous. You can also add a little bit of salsa if you want to add a bit more flavor. I do find that added quite a bit of flavor, but that is totally optional. And of course you can add veggies and stuff as well. This is like the simplest form of a chili that you could possibly get. But of course you can tweak it. This is kind of like a nice base, but you can eat it on its own, and that's totally fine too. So that is what makes it a 3-ingredient chili. So easy. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. I would say this recipe yields about 3 servings, and if we do divide it into 3 servings, it would be about 261 calories per serving and 23 grams of protein. So as you can see, it is a really high protein meal, but of course it's quite low in calories, so you can eat it with rice or bread or pasta or something like that. That's kind of my favorite way of eating chili, with the accompaniment of a delicious carbohydrate. I actually added the bean balls on top and had it like that for a really high protein meal. Really, really filling. It was so good. Oh my gosh. And this is a 6-ingredient meal, guys. Can you believe? 6-ingredient meal right here. Would anyone believe you? I don't know. Alright, we're going to make this super simple pasta dish. We're going to use a high protein pasta. I'm using this POW pasta. This is red lentil rodini, and we're just going to cook that up according to instructions. When you cook it up, after it's done, make sure you save some of that pasta water before you drain everything out, okay? So while the pasta is cooking, we're going to make the ridiculously simple pasta sauce. And the first ingredient is Thai red curry paste. Second ingredient is going to be peanut butter. I'm using all natural peanut butter, but you can use whatever type of peanut butter you want. The reason why I'm using natural peanut butter is because I don't want to have any added sugars in there. And yeah, we're just going to mix that up and add a little bit of water to thin it out. I'm using 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 1 tablespoon of red curry paste. A fair warning though, it is going to be spicy. Red curry paste is very spicy, so if you can't do spicy, well, I'm not sure what to tell you. I'm sure there's some sort of substitute you can add in. If you have any ideas, leave them down below. And there is your really, really simple pasta sauce. And now we're going to take that sauce and add it into a pot. I'm just using the same pot that I used for the pasta because I've already cooked the pasta and drained it and everything. And here is the pasta water that I saved, and I'm just going to add that in as well. And that's just going to provide a bit of starchiness, just a tad, so that the sauce can thicken up nicely rather than just becoming a super watery consistency. I just have the heat on low, and we're just going to mix that well together until it's nicely saucy. And then we're going to throw in the drained pasta and mix it well. So this concoction is going to bring you a whopping 29 grams of protein and 514 calories per serving. So super high in protein once again, and which is why I chose a high protein pasta and a peanut butter for the sauce. Okay, so we're getting some healthy fats and some proteins in there. So it's not like you're just eating pasta with tomato sauce, which is not going to last you very long. But because I have the high protein pasta and a peanut butter sauce, it's really going to help keep you satiated for a little bit longer. So I would recommend adding some vegetables in there if you can, or add anything else that you want to, but you can eat this on its own, and it is really yummy, guys. Definitely try it out.